Pew! That'll do it! That will do it! Pew for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, good evening, Bournemouth fans. It's just gone 6 o'clock. AFC Bournemouth have been relegated from the Premier League. It was a horrible series of events at the London Stadium, but when you looked at how West Ham played, they were pretty pedestrian, and Villa did what they had to do. They got the draw, we got the win, but it's not enough, and AFC Bournemouth's stint is now over. If you want to get involved today, you can do so. Just head to afcbpodcast.com/take part, grab some headphones, and we'll bring you in as soon as we can. First person is Paul Kenwood. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, actually. I mean, I watched all three games simultaneously somehow with a laptop, a tablet, and a TV, but it was always going to be a big ask to have all three results go in our favour, and as it turns out, we couldn't do it. So yeah, unfortunate, really.
It's unfortunate that the point that Villa are, finish above us, got gained in circumstances that you could look back on now at that first match since Project Restart, couldn't we?
Yeah, we were never going to win. When we played Palace and Newcastle, and then Hawkeye decided to turn a blind eye to a Villa goal, a Sheffield United goal that should have never have been disallowed, or it should have been given. It wasn't really disallowed. There's Noah. This is our next generation of fan.
Good man.
You can do an Eddie Howe Barmy Army chant.
Eddie Howe's Barmy Army.
Well done, Noah.
Yeah, good job, Noah. Good job.
I like hearing
so
that.
This is one of the advantages of going down to the Championship. He'll be able to get a ticket, hopefully, to a couple of games, which he hasn't been able to do recently because of being in the Premier League. So he's had to be watching League Cup matches only and things like that, which, again, we don't stay in very long. So, yeah.
Yeah, Craig Beasley is also here as well. Craig, how are you feeling?
A bit deflated, Sam. We did our bit today, though. So in that respect, I'm proud of what we've done. It was always going to be a massive ask, a huge ask, to actually, for all results, like Paul says, to go in our favour. But to be honest, I didn't watch the Watford game, but I was watching our game and the Villa game as well. West Ham didn't really look up to it, to be honest, which is disappointing.
Yeah, they didn't. They were, the West Ham that started the season pretty much, and not the West Ham that ended the season. And up to the 80th minute, if you could foresee a match that had a gentleman's agreement, that was almost it. But then Villa scored, cracking goal, and then lo and behold, West Ham, give us a little bit more hope again. But it wasn't to be. But we certainly ended, the best that we possibly could, and we gave ourselves the best chance. But how ironic is it? The three teams that get promoted in 2015 are the three teams that go down in that exact same order as well. Who thought it?
Yeah, it's gutting because I think we played well today. We did a very, very good job. I gotta be honest, I don't rate Everton at all. I did say that going into this match, but that's not to take anything away from what we've done today. And if anything, hopefully Eddie will look at that and think over the next couple of weeks, okay, there's might be a little bit of a rebuilding job, but okay, yeah, we're going to lose some players. We're going to lose the Ackies. We're going to lose Lewis Cook, I reckon. Callum and King up front. But the nucleus is there. There's Kelly, who's done a fantastic job. Cookie's there still. So we have got a nucleus to go forward with and a strong team in the Championship, and I think we'll do well. It's just up front it concerns me.
Well, will it be with Eddie though? Now, Emma Price has come on chat to say Eddie is the problem, you fools.
No.
And she's also said no Morgan today. I beg you. Well, just for you, Emma, I'm going to bring Morgan on next. And Emma, you're always on chat. I welcome you to come on. AFCBpodcast.com/take part. You've got an internet connection. In fact, don't worry about the headphones. Whatever device you're on now, just come along and have your say. And you know what? I could put you next to Morgan so you can tell him rather than text like Emma, because I know you like to do that. So anyway, Morgan, how are you? I can imagine you are deflated as, you know, the rest of us put together.
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, my positive vibes have now kind of had to go. I don't know. It was weird. I was gonna. I had a set up of the Bournemouth game on the TV, and then come on, Emma, put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, go on then, Emma. If you want to chat shit, you come on here and say something.
Honestly, you know, this is for everyone. And you know what? Just because I've got personal views about Eddie Howe, it doesn't mean that we don't want to, you know, say the opinions of people that are, you know, anti him. And, you know, a lot of people seem to suggest that there may be something happening in the next 24 hours with regards to his future. We don't know yet. But, you know, today, though, in Morgan, I mean, the boys did everything that they could have. But, you know, VAR decisions, Hawkeye decisions aside, that basically have relegated us.
They
have. But we haven't been good enough.
We got a penalty today, so you know that's always a bonus. But no, I had the main game on the TV, you know, Bournemouth, and then I had the Watford game set up on the iPad about 2 meters away from the TV, so I could keep an eye on both. And then on my phone, we went across to the London Stadium. Now in the first half, I only watched a little bit, but I was gonna at half time change it around and put the West Ham game on the iPad just to keep more of an eye. But then Watford, Arsenal being Arsenal, mucked it up again. So they made that a bit dodgy for her. It was always going to be tough. To be honest with you, I don't know if anyone else was watching the Villa game, but I thought they were waiting a lot of time into stoppage time. Why that didn't go 5-6 minutes in, I don't know. But
yeah, they were. They were.
I think we would have done the same in their position.
Well, of course. But I
agree,
thought, what really, as a Bournemouth fan today, I think what really, really makes most people probably happy, although we are in the Championship now, that we gave up, you know, we did what we had to do. We won. And we didn't just win the game by a scrappy 1-0. You know, I thought when that... you know, we went 1-0 up and then they equalised. And I thought the fact that we went 2-1 up into that second half was amazing because Bournemouth haven't done that before. They kind of, you know, but yeah, you know, we gave our best performance on the day. Other results didn't go our way, and now we start again in the Championship. And maybe we just need to sort our team out, and you know, Tuesday nights under the lights. So and no more
just very quickly on that.
Go on, Craig.
As well. I was having a little look at the Championship and what's going on there. Of course, there was the Wigan situation, which was really bizarre. There is clubs left, right and centre struggling. And, okay, yeah, we're going to have to sell players to balance the books a little bit. However, I honestly think we've got a good chance with the nucleus of the side that we've got that will be remaining. Kelly will stay. Danjuma will stay. Stanislas, I think, will stay.
I think Brooks will give us another season.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
it'd be great if he does.
I think he'll give us one more. And the reason I say that is because I think he would want to try and get us back up to the Prem. I reckon if we don't go up next season, I think then he would move on. But I think he might give us one more due to the fact that he's still quite young. And I think he would want to progress to the best.
I can't see us losing all of the decent players that we still have.
And the reason And the reason I say Brooks won't go, in my opinion, well, I don't know that 100%, but you look at him today, he's still not on his A game. I knew as soon as Eddie was about to bring on Junior, you know, that I knew that was 20 for him to come off because he's just not much sharp. Yes, he's been out for... he needs a decent pre-season and a decent break now and to kind of sort himself out again. But yeah, no, I think that Bournemouth just need to sort their squad out. everyone's entitled to their view. To me, keep Eddie Howe. You know, he's done it for years. Yes, he's gone down, but who can we just talk about who would have thought 5 seasons ago Bournemouth would have been in the Prem?
Yeah,
and now
exactly,
and yes, okay, this is a really sad day, and yes, I'm absolutely gutted for the boys, and you know, however, we need to remember what roller coaster we gone on. You know, if we hadn't been through that, we could have been not even in the football league and then the championship if it been for that points production. So Bournemouth have done remarkably well, and I think that's something everyone needs to try and remember, as well as being sad obviously about the lower division.
Yeah.
When I first moved down here, and I moved down from Reading, and we're going back to 2008. We were in League Two. We were on our backsides. You know, I remember the buckets, and we've come on such a journey since then. You know, if we had got relegated that season, would we even have a club? That's the thing. But we've come on such a journey since then.
Yeah.
We've done so well to get into the Premier League. We're going back into the Championship where there's a lot of teams struggling. You know, there's the Sheffield Wednesdays. Sheffield Wednesday might have a points deduction at the start. Derby might have a points deduction. You know, only because I know a bit about them. But Reading are really struggling. They offered players contracts and had to retract on those. They're financially ruined. So if we can keep that nucleus of the side together, we can bounce straight back. I'm confident of that.
If we can have fans back in the stadiums.
Oh, honestly, it would be great.
I think that's the game changer for Bournemouth. You know, we've got such a tight little stadium. The crowd get close to the opponents, and it's an intimidating place to come when there are fans. If you don't have fans, you might as well just be playing anywhere.
Right, I'm going to bring in a couple of others. By the way, JMCG7, don't you know, pub up, the Villa's staying up. Just a heads up, if you're a Villa fan, there is a YouTube channel called the Villa View, and they're also live right now. So you can actually chat to fellow Villa fans rather than coming on here. A bit odd, that one. Right, Mr. Tiggs, we're going to bring him in as well. And you look deflated. But resigned, maybe a bit melancholy. Explain how you're feeling, buddy.
Yeah, I think you've given me all the words I need there. It's the thing. We just said it. You guys have said it. It's the hope that kills you. And I think I spent the whole of this weekend resigned to the fact that we're relegated. And I actually started getting, excited about the idea of playing different teams and going to different places and maybe not losing 7 in a row. And, well, not losing, but you know what I mean. And then that happened today, and the way that the day unfolded. I mean, it's entertaining, isn't it? And for all of his faults, when he's commentated on us before, Jamie Carragher couldn't put it better. Bournemouth are always entertaining. We always bring some kind of excitement, whether it be at our goal mouth or the other one. So yeah, I am deflated, but this is why I come on here. This is the therapy, isn't it? This gets us through and have a little chat about it with other fans. And I know by the end of this evening, I'll be thinking, okay, we'll be all right. We stay the ship. The thing is, of course, and I don't. Maybe this is too early to mention it, Sam. But if we keep the players, that's one thing. But there's something else that we need to keep in order to make that.
Most definitely.
And
VAR.
Yeah, no, certainly not. That's what I'm worried about the most. So I'm going to bring in Reese at this point, who's outside and he's standing by. And Reese, mate, not a good day, is it, buddy? Not a good day.
Can I ask why the fuck that goal wasn't against Sheffield United? That goal, when Villa got the point that one, when Villa Sheffield United, how is that goal not given? I can't understand. Like, it's not properly synced into me yet. I don't see it. I'm in my head yet right now. Like, I had to walk away from my house before I started pissing off my mum and smashing stuff in the house. I don't want to piss off my mum at the minute, but it's sort of sunk in. I look on the face of Aaron Ramsdale and I feel so bad. I reckon we'll keep Wilson. Ake will leave. King will leave. But why don't we play like this for the whole entire season? What was the problem?
That's the thing. I think that look, we were poor, and we know that we were poor, right? There is no denying that there were matches where we should have got points and we didn't. We can talk about technology and stuff, but I just want to talk about relegation, right? it happened in a season where all integrity was lost. We were playing away at Spurs in front of about 60,000 home fans, and then the opposing fixture, there's about 300 in the stadium. Yes, all clubs had it similar, but not all clubs rely on the fans as much as we do. For a team that's punching above its weight in the Premier League for so long, the fans are absolutely huge factors, and they make up the 10%. And things like Paul Kenwood's you said on an earlier show about the fact that because we are in the geographical location we're in, we weren't allowed to play any friendlies because we didn't have any teams that were available within the radius. Whereas like if you're in the Midlands and you've got shitloads of teams around you, then you can have those competitive matches. So no wonder we were so slow off the blocks. I'm also going to bring in David in Washington, and Kirk's standing by. Bournemouth answer to Gary Neville, of course, and David in Reese. I'll come to you in a second. I'll just speak to David quickly. David, how are you feeling?
Somebody said it's the hope that kills us, right? I mean, I thought we played really well today, and if we had played like that the whole season, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. But you have to look at it a different way. Look at it this way. We have a lot of good young players. We have Sarridge, we have Chiellini, we have a whole bunch of others. I think we're going to, with the parachute payments, we're going to be able to hold on to some of our players. Some of them will leave, but some of them will keep. The main one we have to keep is Eddie. And, Emma, sorry. If it weren't for Eddie, we wouldn't have a football club. We wouldn't be in the Premier League. And these people who are calling for him to leave, I don't know what they're smoking, but they should go back to supporting Southampton.
Well, that's what Eddie Mitchell would say, wouldn't he? But it may be that Eddie might make the decision himself, and it may not be a board decision, because at the end of the day, the board would have got rid of him previously anyway. And you know what? There's a lot of people saying that firing managers is the way to getting better results. I know that our friend Boscombe Albion on Twitter, who said, well, like Watford have done the right thing by getting Nigel Pearson in. And exactly, that works out. So I don't really think he's got a leg to stand on, really. But he is key in everything, isn't he? Like keeping Eddie is. I think
there's a lot of things that Eddie wants to do. I mean, first of all, we've got the parachute payments, right? Which a lot of the clubs that are struggling don't have. So that's one thing. The issue, I think, is what Max will want to do, whether he'll want to sell the club. But honestly, I think it'll be easier for him to sell if we get promoted again, rather than sell a championship club. Eddie looks very tired. I mean, he puts his heart and soul into the team, and I do worry about that from his perspective. But I think he'll want to finish the training ground. I think we need to get that finished. And I think with the nucleus of young players that we have in the academy, and we keep some of our players, I don't think there's any reason why we can't be challenging next season.
Yeah, and you know what? There are always rumours about. I mean, I get message every day with lots of conjecture and people saying Eddie's going to do this, or the training ground's not happening, all that kind of stuff. And I think that the decision, whatever's going to happen to the training ground, is going to be pivotal to whether Eddie stays or goes. Because if it is going to be scaled down or abandoned, I think that's the legacy that he wants to leave. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't blame him for wanting to go, because what would have we got out of the Premier League era apart from 5 years of memories and nothing else?
To me, the training ground is the absolute key, right? Because we need to upgrade our academy. We need a flow of young players to come through. That's far more important than the stadium. I mean, we don't need a 20,000 stadium if we're in the Championship or in Division 1. But we do need those young players coming through, because if we are in the lower leagues or if we are moving back up again, those are the players who we can either sell or we can use to redevelop the team. So I think that's absolutely key. And I do worry that the training ground won't get built.
Yeah, that's the key. David, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Keep the faith. See you next season, mate. Mr. Tiggs, what's the reaction been? You've been monitoring a few tweets from Peter Rutzler and Radio Solent and stuff. Have you heard anything new? I'm throwing over to our breaking news department there in Northbourne.
I think the big news that people are picking up is that they've already got some reaction from Eddie, and his reaction is typically. What's the word for it? Tempered, I guess. He wants to be reflective. He's not committing to his next move yet, and he wants to sit. down with some people and talk. I need to sit down with the people at Bournemouth and see what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
Then he was asked if he likes to stay. He said, my commitment has never been in doubt. Now is a time for reflection, not so much for big pledges.
Okay.
But I think that's Eddie all over, isn't it? I mean, he's...
Yeah, it's like heat of the moment stuff. People are asking him about his future, the moment after we get relegated from the Premier League. So it's crazy.
He won't be pushed on it. And if you push him on it, he'll just push back. So I think we need to give him the time and the space to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on, Craig, and then I'll bring Reece in again, and I'll bring Kirk in as well. There's a bit of audio issues with Morgan. I will bring you back in, mate. But also Louis standing by too. But yeah, Craig, far away.
I honestly think it needs to be Eddie's decision. If Eddie wants to walk away at this point, he's done a fantastic job for us. He's a legend, regardless. I don't believe he will. It should not be a board decision, though, because this relegation, there's a lot of players that have let them down. Billing, for example, has been disappointing majority of the season. However, I honestly, they cannot sack Eddie Howe. What he's done for this club, it would be, it'd just be so disappointing. So I believe it would be Eddie's decision, and Eddie's decision alone, if he walks away. And I think, whatever decision he makes, we need to respect that. But I believe he will stay, and I know he'll get the gist from the fans that everybody wants him to stay.
Nice one, Craig. I'm just going to mute you a second. There seems to be a bit of background audio issues there, but I'll bring you back in very shortly. Reece, I noticed you're by the Sainsbury's Click and Collect there in Reading. According to some Villa fans that are on chat, you're probably picking up some sour grapes. Is that the case or not? I mean, you talk about Hawkeye and VAR and the fact it let us down. What's your opinion on it?
You know what Wilfred Zaha said about that you need to put your location on social media. I think if they had the balls, they wouldn't come say that to my face, because I'm honestly, I'm pissed off at them, and I know what type of emotion this is to me. Like, I'm probably gonna cry my eyes later to sleep. It's just, I mean, congratulations to Villa. They're a bigger club than us. We're like a small club. I'm honestly scared for our future, because I look at we're a small club. I don't know what I don't want to be careful what I say here, but I just think that it's either Eddie might do a Sean Dyche or a Newcastle and we'll be up next season, or we'll do a Pompey or Sunderland, and I'm just kind of a bit scared what the Championship holds for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you there. Louis is also on as well, so we'll hand over to him as well. Louis, how are you feeling?
Gutted, but at least I was saying on Twitter, at least if we do what we can, then I can't feel too bad. We put in a great performance today. Really enjoyed the game, but was West Ham at the beach?
Does it not make you angry that it took so long for us to get started in the Premier League? And, those 4 matches after Project Restart, we were absolutely dreadful. Callum Wilson today missed a hatful of chances. Yes, we won the match, but I still feel as though we should, focus on certain players that I think haven't really performed since the restart. And, as much as we talk about David Brooks, hopefully we'll keep him this season. I think he's been absent in the 9 matches as well. Sometimes I think we maybe pinned our hopes, too much on him, and certain players, it could be argued, didn't step up in that last 9 matches of the season. But it just sums up that 9 match spell is a microcosm of our season as a whole, isn't it?
Is it right if I can interrupt you just for a second? If that's
Go
right.
on, yeah.
If I picked a player like a man of the match for this Project Restart, I'd say Stanislas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. And I was surprised that it took so long for Eddie to bring Junior Stanislas on. I thought it may have been a change at half time, but when he did come on, he did what he does, and he's been getting better and better, and he's one of the players that I think we will be able to hold on to, 100%. And he could be a valuable part of our campaign next season. But I think a lot of there are a lot of players that we've got that are fully invested into Eddie's philosophy. I'm sure there are certain players that aren't, and they're the players that possibly will have their heads turned over the next month or two. But he is one of them that I certainly expect to stay. Who do you think will go, Reese?
Okay, definitely King, because he almost left us in January. I think Wilson will stay for one season. Callum Wilson will stay for one season because I see the loyalty in him. If we get promoted next season, he'll definitely stay with us. But I'd love to see Matt Ritchie back.
Yeah. Oh, I'd absolutely love to. And he always loves the drop in division. Weirdly, so maybe he'll like to take on a challenge again. Who knows?
I think Rambo will stay with us. I just think it's Ake and King, and I can't think of another couple players. I don't know. I don't think Dan Juma will leave. I just don't know. I just think those are the two players I think will definitely leave.
I've had a little look into it, Sam, and the last 6 teams that have been relegated, they made about 20 to 30 million total on players that they sold after they got relegated, and they all shifted between 5 and 7 players on. And that's not including any free transfers. And in terms of the money you get, so like the biggest transfer for the last couple of seasons has been Session, went for 24 million. Billing went for 14 million to us. Mawson, 15 million. Shaqiri, 13 million. So some of the money that we're talking about for players like Nathan Ake, I'm not saying that he's not worth it, but if we got anywhere near 30 million, nobody's getting that kind of money for players when they get relegated. Nobody.
Yeah. Callum Wilson,
I'm not
10
actually.
million.
Sorry, Reese.
Callum Wilson, 10 million. I'm sorry, but no, that's a scam. I'm sorry, I'd rather him go on the free. Because that's a scam just for 10 million. That's not.
Well, it depends why we're selling him, Reese. This is the problem. If we're selling him and we want that nice transfer kitty from it that we can spend on other players, that's great. But if we're selling him because we need to get him off our wage bill, that's the thing we don't know, is we don't know really how many players we have to shift on just to be able to get rid of the wages, because there are other players who you might use, like Daniels, whose contract's up. We might not be able to offer him a contract if we're locked into other longer-term contracts that are costing us far too much more money. So, I think that's why it gets cut price, because teams have to shift on players as opposed to wanting to.
Isn't there any way for the contracts to get cut down, or not?
Yeah, they can have.
Is there any way, like Callum Wilson gets paid 100,000 grand a year? Isn't it possible, like it could go either, like, I don't know, 30? Could it go down more?
Maybe, but there's a question. There's 2 questions. There's whether Callum would do it, but there's whether Callum's agent would let it happen. And that's the world that we live in now, is that you've got these other people who are saying, well, I want my payday, and this guy's the key to my payday, so you can't cut his wages that much. So no.
Reese, we're gonna bring in a few others, but thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it, buddy, and we'll talk more, no doubt. And Gary Neville's here with his headset. It's almost like you've been in the commentary box. How are you, Gary?
My daughter's got my normal headphones, so I've had to end up with these. So it's probably me that was playing up with the old microphone issue. Just deflated. Good effort from the boys in the end. We didn't get relegated today, and we didn't get relegated after Project Restart. We got relegated because obviously over 38 games we weren't good enough. The frustration I have is the disagreement the team had after the Newcastle game. I just wish that had come a little bit earlier, because since they've had that disagreement in the changing room, they've been a different team, and they almost feel like they pulled each other out, and they've almost gone, okay, we'll pull together for a change. And if that had come after Palace, or maybe earlier on in the season, we might not be in this situation. I mean, we can talk about VAR decisions, we can talk about injuries, but 19 other teams will say the same thing. We haven't been good enough all season, dropping points, too many points against the teams in and around us. I hope Eddie stays, but I felt like he picked the team today, and he looked like he was throwing the kitchen sink at it. And that, for me, before the game, it felt like it was his last team he was picking, because I've never seen him play away from home against a team that you would probably put in the top 8 overall. You'd play 4 across the middle. Never in a million years was I think he'd be picking 4 across the middle today. And it just felt like he was putting all his eggs in one basket one more time. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah, agreed. Morgan is saying that he loves us already. Morgan, we are going to bring you in, and nice to see some faces. JMC G7, dry your tears, lads. The Villa view is where you need to be for your post-match pint. You come straight here rather than on that channel. Bit weird. Also, Max is going to come in soon, and also, I mean, God, there are a load of football fans from Villa. There's a load on here that are being the keyboard warriors that they are. But if you want to come on and chat about it, then feel free. AFCBpodcast.com/take part. Just go to that address and I'll bring you in the chat. Morgan is going to come back soon, but we got Ben here. And it was a good win on the day, Ben. However, not to be overall. And over the 38 matches, regardless of Hawkeye decisions and stuff, we just weren't good enough, were we?
Not really, no. I mean, today was a great afternoon in many, many senses. We did our bit. But then I remember a few hackers getting busted and Tranmere away. Sean O'Driscoll not getting the result and us going down at Carlisle away. It's always seems to be just one little thing we need and us not getting it. So, what can we do? But we did our bit on the day and we can't argue with that. And hopefully that momentum could carry us forward a little bit. Yes, we're going to lose a few players over the summer. Of course we are. But, it's a championship. It was fun. But
it was fun. It was fun. And at what point, Ben, were you resigned to the fact that we are going down? Was it literally today, or was it last week, or has it been a long time ago? Because there's always been these little peaks and troughs, even in this kind of 9-game mini league that we've had. When did you think, right, that's it, we're gone?
It's been an expectation for about 3 weeks now, I think. If I'm honest, I think about 3 weeks ago, I was kind of preparing for it, as it were. But today, I wasn't resigned that we were down until the final whistle at the West Ham Villa match, because I was watching that one and listening to Chris and Willow. Then West Ham went 1 down. Then it was 1 each, and all I was thinking was, why can they have scored that one 5 minutes beforehand?
Oh, I know.
Hey-o. But we shouldn't have to be relying on other people. That's our own mistakes. That's the mistakes we've made over the course of the season, prior to lockdown and since lockdown. But hey.
Yeah. Hey, we got Yanis here as well. You were on the show last time. Whereabouts are you in the world, Yanis?
Cyprus.
You're in Cyprus. Good man. And you watched the game, and obviously, I can imagine, amazingly disappointed, aren't you?
Oh, really disappointed. Yeah. We showed fight, played really good today, but can't rely on other teams. We've done it on our own fault. It was our own fault. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Let's hope we can recoup in the championship.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. There's a bit of audio in the background where you are, Yanis. So I'll just mute you for a second. I'm not too sure what that is. It sounds like some bed springs actually in the room next door. I really hope not. Kirk. So in the championship, what have we got to look forward to? There's quite a lot.
We get 8 more games for our season if we're allowed in. So that'll be good. I love the championship. It is a brilliant league. You're getting Saturday, Tuesday. You're not getting big gaps in between games. there's some really good competitive football in there. Coming back to who I think will lose, I think I said it last week. I don't think we need to lose too many. I think Ake, King, and I think Wilson, because I think Mr. Tiggs is spot on. That salary might be an issue. So I think we lose them 3. Apart from that, that should financially keep us going for a year. The only thing that's going to be another issue is whether any of the other players have got clauses in their contracts which allows them to leave. So if there's not any clauses like that, for me, we don't need to sell more than 3. We can then bring in a couple. Solanke hopefully he's been playing well for 3 or 4, 2-3 weeks now. Hopefully he'll kick on. We can bring in Kilkenny. We can bring in, Surridge. There's a lot of potential there. I see us maybe touching playoffs if we get it right. But I don't see us being near the bottom. I see us mid-table or touching the playoffs. But I think we do need Eddie to stay, and he is the right man going forward. And I think the questions over his future 6 or 7 months ago might have been justified to a few. But, he is the right man for the job now. And he is the right person, but he needs to regroup and he needs to get the right players playing for him week in, week out, like they've been doing since Newcastle.
Craig?
I actually think, we can go for it. I honestly think we can go for it. Which teams in that championship look dangerous? I guess Norwich and Watford would be 2 that you could mention, but I don't think Norwich would go back up. I think they'll lose whatever good players they've got. I think Watford are a financial mess. They're going to be a financial mess. And then you got to look at the rest of them. And I think it depends if Brentford or whoever stays down from Brentford or Fulham, I think, or if both of them stay down, I think they're going to be dangerous. And Nottingham Forest. But the rest of them, there's a lot of teams, like I say, who are going to have a lot less money than we have to play around with. There's certainly going to be some surprise teams down that bottom who were up by the top this season. I think Sheffield Wednesday are really going to struggle next season, for example. So I honestly think we could go for it. I think we could go for it.
You know what? I certainly would like to. I think so. Yanis, there's just a few audio issues, so we can take you out a second. We're going to bring in Ronan here, who's on as well. He's always on the chat. Ronan, hopefully you can hear us, okay, mate. Nice to see your beautiful face. It's been a long time. How are you? Well, he's gone. Maybe he was offended at me calling him beautiful. Yanis, we'll bring you back in for one final word. There were just a few audio issues there previously, but hopefully if you can unmute yourself, you can have just a final say, mate.
Final word. I think we can regroup in the championship. I think we can come straight back up. Eddie's a priority to keep. I think most of our key players are going to go, like Ake, King, Wilson, Brooks. I think Steve Cook might stay, Stanislas will stay, Adam Smith might stay. I think most of our known players will stay, but I think we can bounce back. I think we can. Personally, for me, I think we can bounce back.
Good man, mate. Nice to have you on again. I'll message you on Instagram to say thanks. Honestly, appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come on the chat. And if you, Tony, you were loving the little jig there to that.
I was just thinking about what Craig said there about it's really interesting. When you look at that championship, they've all been in the Premier League, haven't they? Apart from Brentford, I think.
6. Yeah. There's 6 of them. So there's Brentford, Millwall, Bristol City, Preston, Wickham, and Rotherham. But I think the rest of them have been in there at some point.
That's the worry, isn't it? Like when you drop down there and you look at all the really big. I mean, we're still going to be it's going to be near the smallest, probably.
Oh yeah,
3. Yeah.
If it was on, if football was decided by the size of your football club, then we would be bottom 3, wouldn't we?
Who got relegated last season? Was it Huddersfield last season? And who got relegated last season? Can you remember?
Fulham go last year as well.
Yeah, Fulham.
Well, obviously in the play. Well, Fulham and Cardiff. Was that? Yeah, Cardiff wasn't last season, was it? or maybe it was.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it
Oh,
was.
oh no, of course it was. Yeah. So Fulham and Cardiff are obviously pressing. Huddersfield not so much. They're in the bottom half, but they are safe. I mean, what do you think, Tony, should be the real target? Just trying to get some kind of stability, or should it be a case of we need playoffs minimum?
I'd be disappointed if we weren't around the playoffs. I think it all depends on what happens in the summer. But I think if we look at everything as a project, I don't think that we would be looking necessarily an expectation that we jump back up straight away. I'd be thinking that we'd be looking a couple of years to try and get a strong footing and go for it. But that's what we expected last time. And before I go, because if it's okay, I'll come back and chat about that other thing later with you, Sam.
Yeah.
We've spent less years in the Championship, haven't we, than we have the Premier League now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many clubs can say that? I mean, we've barely flirted with it.
And even that's right. It's absolutely bizarre. Good point. We're going to bring in the smiley face of Chris Hubble, who's always on chat, and hopefully he can hear us okay. So heads up, Chris often comes to us after a game, and he's always positive, sometimes economical with his words, and sometimes with his webcam as well. Because there's a blank screen there, Chris, and what's weird is that I can see you offline but not on. I'll try to bring you in once again. Chris, can you hear us okay, mate? No. If you try reconnecting, hopefully we'll bring you in, and therefore, Morgan, I'm going to bring you back in once again. And at what point do you think you're going to be over this, Morgan?
Well, when have you not just seen the breaking news on Sky Sports? I just signed an undisclosed fee of £5 million to play for Bournemouth next season. No, I'm joking.
We needed a lanky 6'5" striker, so why not?
Well, maybe they'll pay for me to get a bigger chair. Who knows? But I think on a positive note, that we, everyone's kind of nipped their butt. We just need to recruit in our team. I don't think we're going to lose that many, as I mentioned before. I think Brits will give us one more. Lloyd Kelly, Sam Sturridge, Gavin Kilkenny. I think that's a lot of potential. Sam Sturridge even got the name right, so another one for me to get right next season. But if Eddie does go, then fair play to the bloke. He's given us everything, but we need him to stay. No, he's not. I doubt he's coming out and doing what Eddie does, and I'll have to sit down and talk to the director and all this. He won't go anywhere. He loves it too much. He looks knackered. Put him on a plane to Barbados for 5 weeks and he'll be fine. But we need to keep Eddie. I think Kirk could be his assistant next season if I want to get rid of JT and bring Kirk in. But
coming back to Eddie, I just think he needs to give himself a little bit of a break. I mean, he needs a break. That's been obvious. I mean, there was interviews in December, January where he's just looked like he was shattered and he's not sleeping at all. And that's not really changed since, coming back. He does look tired. But I think he needs to just, take a little bit off his shoulders. I think I don't know, I'm just seeing it from the outside, but I think he wants to be involved in so much that actually it's not doing any good for him and the club. And I think I've always said that I think we need more outside influence coming in that maybe doesn't have that heart connection to the club, that can just give us a different direction, an overview, even if it's just something different for Eddie to look at. And I think, I think he is the right man. He should be taking us forward, but I think he needs to just let go of some of the stuff he has hold of on a day-to-day basis throughout a season.
Harry Minge Muncher says that Bournemouth aren't big enough to attract the kind of talent that they may need next season. And you know what? In some ways, Harry Minge Muncher, I do agree. However, Eddie is crucial, because if you're even if you're a Premier League manager and you're looking to put a player on loan, or you're a player that, your level is the Championship, who would you rather play for? And, Eddie Howe's known for this, great brand of football, being someone that has successfully brought up players from the lower leagues who have established themselves in the Premier League. He is a selling point. And I do fear that if he was to walk, that could be the end of it. Now, Ben, on October the 20th, Ben, me and Jeff recorded a podcast, and the title was are we as good as we think we are? And it was quite clear that there was a problem, even early doors when we were, in the top half of the table. The football was never right. And we even saw that in the first couple of games, the first few games with like Sheffield United. We had that game against Norwich where we couldn't break them down in it. We certainly haven't been the attacking force that we have been previous years, have we?
No, and if we want to do that in the Championship, then we might struggle a little bit because Eddie, he doesn't do things slowly. He doesn't do things quickly. Everything is a matter of education. And I mean, that comes from the club from way back. And I do worry that if we're going to suddenly go back to scoring 100 goals a season, like we did in the last Championship season, that 2 years of being told to slow it down might be a struggle. But then again, at the same time, on the positive that I was going to say about next season is that, we have got 2 games a week, most weeks. Yeah. Therefore, there is every opportunity for our Gavin Kilkennys, our Carl Taylors, our Namdi Aforbis, even the guys at the back, Dinesh Galella and I've forgotten his name. Big unit, plays at left back, but either which way, there's a good opportunity for them to actually get a proper blooding and actually get some matches. And I think that's what we need to be looking forward to. Is if these kids who have got no failure on their CV, they've got no worries, they're just out there trying to impress and trying to learn. Let's actually place our faith there for a little bit, because we're going to be playing that many games that we might as well give them a go. As for who we're going to lose this summer, I think it's probably a bit more than some are saying, but I don't think it'll be a mass exodus. Not at all.
Ronan's here as well. Ronan, friend from school. Nice to see your face again. How are you?
It's going to take a while to sink in. I'm still sinking in that we made the Premiership, to be honest with you, mate. Just true Cherry fans, we never thought we'd ever see the day in our lifetime. The fact that we've made it to the big time, we've gone toe to toe with some of the biggest teams in the world, arguably, and have some incredible results. Had incredible results this season. We look back at all those games where we dropped points, and most recently, these VAR decisions. I mean, I don't think any of us will be missing VAR next season. It just feels like it's gone against us at crucial times. Handball again today. It wasn't even mentioned at halftime. No. How that was different to Harry Wilson's. His arms are in an unnatural position. We won't be missing that. But yeah, it's going to take a while to sink in. And you know me, Sam. I'm Bournemouth through and through, and I'm going to be in a foul mood for a long time to come. But I'll still be here, as we all will be. Yeah. And I was just hoping to shut up a few Southampton fans today. I've had quite a bit of stick recently. I work with a lot of Southampton fans. But do you know what? Looking back at September when we beat them on their place and celebrated like we won the league, all that, mind the gap stuff. I celebrated mind the gap that game. After that, it was like, well, it's a long old season, and look at us now. Look where we are. It's gutting. One goal, fine margins.
It's and that goal that wasn't given at. I mean, we can talk about that. Goal that should have been awarded like Sheffield United and VAR and stuff. But we weren't sort of good enough, and the writing was on the wall, sort of early doors. What can you really put it down to, Ronan? Like why are we in this? Because we started the season thinking we've got the best squad on paper that we've had, and we should be pushing for top 10 and all this kind of stuff. And how it's crumbled.
I think us true fans always wondered what would happen when that spine of the team started retire or started getting those injuries. The Franos, the Charlie Daniels. Who's going to come in and replace them, and who's going to step up and have that where we've had players that have come in for next to nothing, and we've bought in multi-million-pound players. Would they have the same passion and pride and determination to fight for a place where they couldn't get a starting game at Brighton, for example? Cookie and people like that. Just we always wondered, we always worried, and it's proven that actually this season that the players that have come in, they may well be the best players individually that we've ever seen. But do you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it? Because they haven't put the goods out there. Solanke scored an absolutely cracking header today.
Yeah.
And we've all been willing him on every single game, week in, week out. He wears a shirt. Hasn't happened for him until recently. Too little, too late. But it's a lot of things, isn't it? You look back to Mousset and Ibe and, what's gone on in the background with Ryan Fraser. Has there been all that unsettlement? Has the offers been on from other clubs? I think it's just so many things that we're probably never, ever going to get the answers to. But yeah, it's not just one thing, is it? I think a lot of it is the wrong players have come in, haven't quite had that fight we needed. I would love to have seen Steve Fletcher out there today, because I think he would. Well, last week he would have won half those long throw-ins. So, but yeah, it's lots of things, Sam.
Yeah, mate. Nice to have you on, mate. Thanks for making your back on the debut. Appreciate it. And
I'm a bit half cut, so it might be a good time for me to go. So no worries. It's the last game of the season as well. I'm trying to get my Nokia 4400 to get the thumbs in.
I love it.
Yeah, I've had to steal the son's iPad today, but next season I'll make sure I'll make more of these streams. So thanks for having me on. All right, guys.
All right, mate. Yeah, cheers, Ronan. Thanks very much. And we're going to bring in Mr. Tiggs again soon. Algar standing by. Max is there as well. But Ben, we will close off with you in terms of why relegation won't be so bad, right? The Championship is going to bring a great challenge. It's a chance to embrace the type of football that basically made us fall in love with the sport in the first place. That last week of Championship games was unbelievable. We'll have more Saturday, Tuesday games, more games under the lights, more frustration at refs, which lasts a day or so, rather than technology, which declares that one player's toenails are longer than another. We will be able to celebrate a goal, and we can just have that brief look at the lino, like the players do, and we'll go all-out attack with our celebrations. We don't have to be patronised by the likes of Adrian fucking Durham off Talk Sport. The list of pluses, it is extensive, but obviously the money's not there, the global attention is not there, and the glamour is not there, is it? But we're going to enjoy it, aren't we?
I think so. I would say, though, let's not slate the refs too much. Let's slate the media's opinion of the refs. Yeah. Because next season I will be running a little blog called The Grumpy Referee.
Cool.
My experiences refereeing back in the 90s and how they are relevant to today and how it changes the way the game's played. But beyond that, definitely. I mean, next season we're going to be playing against some actually proper big football teams who all claim that they're much bigger than they really are. It's never been a change for us. No,
and I can't wait. The amount of decent away days there are as well. I mean, I don't know who I would like Brentford to go up, but in the same breath, I'd also like them to stay down as well. And also, teams like Bristol City, Wycombe Wanderers and stuff. And it's a shame that Charlton got relegated in the end as well. But it's the journey rather than the destination, isn't it? But the worry about the fact that we're not in the Premier League now is, will we have that infrastructure, and will the training ground still happen, and will we have a legacy? And
I think the training ground still has to happen. We've already broken ground on it. We've already committed those funds to it.
Yeah.
I would hope that it happens. If it's any consolation, Max at Fortuna Dusseldorf, he finished off the stadium at that place. He actually built that stadium and concert venue and all the other things that it does. So I would hope that, this money had already been earmarked from previously and it's still there to go, because that will be a massive, massive help for us.
Brilliant. Ben, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, and have
a lovely one, guys.
Yeah, we'll do. Right, at this point, we're just going to take a little bit of a break. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Tiggs, actually, and just talk very briefly with you about the funnel forecast, and specifically the funnel fundraiser. And whilst we've got a lot of people viewing this, Myself and you did a video that's on Back of the Net, Mr. Tiggs. That's people can view now, and it's the usual funnel forecast video. But we decided to turn our kind of trying to make some money for charity into something that could be bigger, and it's for the Forest Home Hospice, which is in Poole. They deal with palliative care, and it's a charity that's close to Tony Funnell's heart. And what we're doing, we've got a Just Giving page, haven't we? So we'll pop the link in the description of this video a little bit later on. And also what I'll do is I'll type it out in the background now for people to go and donate. But can you tell us a little bit about what's going on, Tony?
Yeah, so we set this up as part of the funnel forecast. We thought that we were going to make loads of money, didn't we, Sam? Placing individual bets.
That worked.
And that didn't work. So what we've done is we set up a Just Giving page instead. Tony's idea, actually, and he picked the charity. It's a fantastic charity. And it's, really a wonderful one for us to support. We've got a few prizes as well. So what happens is that if you go onto the Just Giving page and you leave your name, if you make a donation of £1, you get 1 entry. If you make a donation of £2, you get 2 entries. £20, 20 entries, etc., into our prize raffle. And the prizes, we've got quite a few. We've got the very much sought after Back of the Net coaster bottle opener. I'm starting small, I'm getting bigger.
Of beauty. Take a look at that bad boy. Who doesn't want a coaster that you can also open your bottle with? Tell you what, I certainly want one of them. But yeah,
we need them in the championship. That kind of thing's a kind of thing. We've also got a £20 voucher for the Superstore, and we've also got now Tony Funnell said that he would add in a game of golf with him and a meal. And then today, this is breaking news. This has not gone anywhere else yet. He got on the phone to one of his mates, and he's bringing a mate along. You might know him. His name is Harry Redknapp. So one of our top Harry Redknapp.
Yeah.
Have you heard of him, Sam?
I think I have. I mean, look at that pose. Look at that face.
Wow.
He's putting his everything into that shot, isn't he? But that is amazing. So what? The winner of this can have a round of golf with Tony Funnell and Harry Redknapp. Is that right?
Yeah, and a meal.
Please tell me it's halfway through.
yeah. Packet of chips.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be the podcast if it's not done halfway through, is it? So Harry Redknapp's going to be there as well. So they can go to that link below. And there is a minimum sort of donation with Just Giving, isn't there? But
it's £2.
£2. But the more entries you put in, so if you put in £20, that's 10 entries, and we're going to put all the money together. We'll draw it out of a hat, appropriate to how many pounds you put on, and then the winner will get that. And there's going to be more prizes as well throughout the weeks ahead in there, including like restaurant meals and all sorts. So it's
we're adding more and more every day almost.
Amazing. So get to that link, justgiving.com/fundraising/funnel forecast. And Tony, I'm sure we'll be chatting more again soon about that.
Yeah, we'll do. Thank you ever so much, mate, for letting me plug it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, no worries. Right, we're going to bring in Al Gard, who is with us, and he, of course, is in Brittany. Al, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm so proud of the lads today. They were fantastic today, and it was out of our hands. So there was nothing we could do, mate, was there? Are you prepared to let me sing a song that I've just written?
Wow, this is a first, but yeah, I'm prepared for that to happen.
I'm not Fleetwood Mac or anything like that, but here we go.
Okay.
Smile, though your heart is breaking. Wickham and Preston are waiting. Smile, 'cause we care. Millwall, be aware. We will be back as soon as we want to. We'll be back just like we want to. And Forest, you better beware. Smile, 'cause we care, 'cause we're Bournemouth. Listen, embrace next season, mate. Embrace next season, because, listen, I know we've got to sell players. We're going to have to flog whatever's going to happen. We know who's going, probably. But the nucleus is there to get us back, mate.
Mate, well said Rob. Al said, Ben said, glad you're better because you've obviously been in hospital recently.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, very good, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone for the well wishing. Yeah, it was a minor incident. Was a major at the time, but I didn't know. But I'm fine now, back on form, and I've got a glass of wine, which is quite nice.
Good man. Well, that's what I like to hear. Al, obviously it's not brilliant, being relegated, but are you sort of, when's it going to change from despair and hurt into sort of happy memories of the 5 years that we've had?
Sam, I went to my first game in '69, so I've been a follower now for 51 years. And we've only had below the bottom two divisions just 10 seasons, haven't we? We've had our great 5 years in the Premiership. We had the Harry Redknapp 3 years. We had 2 years with Eddie. Right, next season, how do I see it? I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to challenge? I don't know. We'll see what happens. When does next season start? Is it September, October?
September the 11th or 12th, I think, over that sort of weekend.
Right. So I'm sure the fixtures will be rushed out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then we'll know who we're going to.
There's a fly. There's a fly on your screen.
Sam, that's the problem. That's the problem with living in the French countryside. There's a lot of I know. There's a lot of manure around here, and as you can hear, guys, let's not panic about next season. Let's see what it takes us, and the nucleus is there, especially with the younger lads, and we've got Stacey and Kelly and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes, Sam. Sam, are you married? Oh, did you hear that from the wife?
Yes.
Yeah. Sam, are you married?
Yes.
So am I. So
yeah. Apologies,
guys. Right. Listen. Thank you for everything you've done.
I quite like you.
Oh, shut up. Right. Listen, guys.
Is this happening? This is like a Tinder on.
We've got our first English guest who's come out here to Brittany after the lockdown and COVID. And we've had a couple of sherbets, but we've got some football. We're all really honest about it. Sam, next season, let's see. I mean, it's going to be a tight, close season. What we're going to sign and what we're going to sell.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the budget will be because, personally, I'm the prophet of doom, and I always have been. Yes, we owe Max a lot of money, but if Max is prepared to hold off on that. We now get 55% of what was the TV deal, so we'll get 50 or 60 million or something like that. With the player sales, we'll take it from there. I don't know how the finance is going to work, but hopefully we've got the nucleus of something to you're excited about next season. I'm excited.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's the football I fell in love with, and you know what? I had a whale of a time in the Championship, and even in that first season, just a variety of teams that you can play against week in, week out. You got your big clubs, you got your small clubs, smaller clubs like Wickham. There's a huge variety, and I can't wait for it.
I'm looking forward to 3 o'clock football, or 4 o'clock, as is in Central European.
Yeah,
time.
of course. Yeah.
And the odd midweek game, which we get. And also, being an ex-Premiership club, we get a bye to the second round of the League Cup.
Wow, can't be bad. Nice one, Al.
Nice to see you, mate.
Yeah, you too. And glad you're all good. And have a good evening. Enjoy, and see you again next season. I'm certain.
Yes, mate. Look after yourself, and thanks for everything you've done. It's brilliant.
No worries, buddy. Cheers, Al. Thank you very much. That's Al Guard in Brittany there. Thank you very much. And we're going to bring in Max. That was a strange conversation. Craig Beasley and also Kirk's back as well. Morgan, we'll have you standing by. And if you want to get involved, remember, you can do so. We'll be on air for about another 10 minutes or so. Max, 3-1 winners today, but Bournemouth are relegated from the Premier League. How are you?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see them get relegated, but beat Everton. Like when I was speaking last week, saying a win against Saints and a draw against Everton, but we won. But I was because I'm just pleased with the boys today. Played well. They've gone down, but I'm just hopefully we can come back up next season. And that's just what I hope. I hope they come back up next season. And yeah, just like when I was watching that Aston Villa against West Ham, Villa scored, and I was like, oh, it's Grealish again. But then West Ham get a goal, which I'm pleased with, and then it goes to the end. It ends at 1-1. But yeah,
I always worried about Villa's fixtures that they had because West Ham. You know what? I thought that was going to be the winnable one for them, and Arsenal being Arsenal, they are so unpredictable, and it proved to be the case. I mean, they were dreadful against Aston Villa. They didn't register a shot on target, and it's a team that's pushing for top 4, but based on this inconsistent form, there's absolutely no chance they're going to be there for a number of seasons yet, especially with the might of kind of Man United coming through, Liverpool, Man City, obviously established, their North London rivals, etc. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, can you hear us, Max?
Oh yeah. I just had to try and ignore that if you can hear my dog barking in the background. Oh, don't worry about that. So yeah, just like what you said, Championship will be tough, but it is what it is. 3-1 against Everton, great result. But again, in the Championship, the thing that will be a bit annoying is we might lose Ake, Wilson. I hope Brooks stays. I definitely know Stanislas will stay. But we're going into the Championship, and you're thinking, right, we're in the Championship now. We've got to think positive. Yes, we've had Norwich and Watford go down with us. It's going to be tough in the Championship, but I think we'll at least I reckon we'll win the league. I reckon we'll do it. But if we don't win it, we'll either finish second or in playoffs for definite.
Well, and that's the ideal way to win it, isn't it? Because it's incredible. It would be incredible. And you know what? I just want to get back to Dean Court and watching football again. If I had known that last home match against Chelsea that we had was our last one for quite a time, then I would have just enjoyed it that little bit more. But as I was chatting to Paul Kenwood this morning, actually, he was saying that there are some clubs in League One and League Two that haven't played since the end of Feb, and they're not going to play until October. I mean, they must be missing it as well, and not least with the finances as well. Clubs like that are going to be in trouble. But it's important now, money-wise, Craig, that we spend wisely, isn't it? Obviously, we get as much money we can, for the assets that we've got, but also I think that's going to be an end to these kind of almost liberal signings where we're throwing money at teams like Liverpool. I don't think that's going to be happening anymore, is it?
I think Eddie will revert back to signing players from lower leagues, players that are 21, 22, 23 years old that are showing promise from Leagues 1 and 2 who can do a job. And that in itself is exciting because that's how we won the Championship last time round, was with those sorts of players. So that's what I believe will happen. Okay, we could have one or two marquee signings. I still think we should go in for Erebeshi. I think that's how you pronounce his first name, Eze, from QPR, because they're one team who are struggling financially, from my understanding. And maybe we should exploit that, very much like Man City will. That's the rumour anyway. We'll exploit our situation and try and get Ake for cheaper. If we had stayed up today, I think still Ake would have gone, but we would have been able to demand a lot higher transfer fee. I would have said, well, if Harry Maguire is worth 80 million, how much is Nathan Ake worth?
That's the thing. I mean, there was times where it was like 60 million and 70 million, and you're sort of looking at it now, thinking, well, Chelsea had the buyback clause, didn't they? That they didn't, take advantage of. Max is off for a bit, so we'll bring Morgan back in as well. But he's going to go though, isn't he? And it looks like it's going to be Man City that are front runners. And how do you think he'll do at Man City?
I think he'll do very well. I think he will eventually cement his place there. He might not straight away get in the first team squad, but he'll cement his place there. He's a model professional. He has been since throughout his time here. When he was on loan as well, he was a model professional. So I wish him the very, very best. Some players, well, Fraser, I can't wish him anything, to be honest. And the rumour with Fraser is that he's going to Crystal Palace, which, let's be honest, if we had stayed up, is that really that big a step up? If he does go to Palace, I honestly don't think it is.
So, you know, I mean, the style of football they play, the league positions that we've had, I mean, yeah, they're a bigger club, but I'm not sure that's a way to progress your career. But you could argue that maybe he's had the last laugh. I don't know. Morgan's back with us. Morgan, you said you had more to say. Of course you have.
Did I? I'm not really sure right now, though. A lot to say, but you know, that's a really interesting point that Craig just made about Fraser. And to be honest with you, you can blame a lot of things this season, and without making excuses, I think it was the Fraser situation that something got lost in the dressing room, and I'm not quite sure what. It'd be interesting to know. We're never going to find out, unfortunately. That's just how it is. But it'd be really interesting to kind of, we can only like make points, like guess kind of thing, but it'd be interesting to kind of know what went wrong in that changing room. I'm a massive lover of Eddie Howe, but he does fall out with quite a lot of players. You know, Harry Arter, Ahmir Begovic. I know he didn't always get on with Defoe, Distan, etc. And they're two of the best people we ever had on our team. So that might be a factor that Bournemouth kind of need to work out next season. Yes, I'm not blaming Eddie, and yes, I'm a massive believer, and I think he should stay as the Bournemouth manager. However, you can't be falling out with lots of players. Could you imagine if we had Harry Hart on that pitch today? Well, not today. We did all right today, but in the previous game, Mark Pugh. Definitely get onto Mark Pugh next season, and I don't know what he's planning on doing. I might have a little call with him later on tonight, and you need to get down to Dean Court, Brett Pittman. You know, people that want to be part of it and could get us back up. You know,
but do you think they realistically can? Do you think we're sort of being a bit too dewy-eyed when we're thinking about these players that did well for us? Let's not forget, 5 seasons ago for Brett Pittman, Mark Pugh hasn't been with us for a while. Do you honestly think that they could do the same standard of job?
Wow, I think Mark Pugh's at the from looking on what he eats on Instagram and everything, and how often he's out. He's always off for a run at 6 a.m. every morning. So to be honest with you, I think he looked after him. You know, he's come out of QPR. It's obviously he's left on mutual ground, which is fair play to the lad. But he's come out and he's looking after himself. You know, he's probably the best. He hasn't just come in and been like, oh, I'll do a gym session. You know, he's training pretty much every day and eating the correct things, and that's all important in a footballer. So why not? And whoever just said, I don't know who said it there, but I popped up that Brett Pittman, and why not? You know, you got to give things a go. You know,
I mean, where do you stop? You know, bring back Steve Fletcher, bring back Ted McDougall from retirement. I mean,
don't be daft.
but that's what I mean. Like, how look, at the end of the day, Brett Pittman's struggling to get in a League One side at the moment. Bearing in mind that
Sam, what have you been doing again?
I don't know. Always, every week. You know, he's had his issues with, you know, Kenny Jackett, whatever. Mark Pugh wasn't a regular starter for Queen's Park Rangers. We've got players that are going out, you know, on loan at places like Weymouth and stuff. You've got, you know, Namdi, who's been doing wonders for kind of, you know, Wickham and stuff. These are the players that should be our future. And I think relying on these kind of, you know, legends, you know, they are legends, but I don't think we should taint it by bringing them back and us finishing in the bottom half of the championship, which would probably happen if we had players like that playing for us again.
Maybe you're right on that one. I'll let that one go. But you know, no, did anyone see Nandy's his celebration after when they went up? Because they were phenomenal. He's an incredible. If he doesn't get a job as a professional, well, I know he's a professional footballer now, but if he doesn't make it, maybe he should get into like professional dancing. He's quality. Good half an hour on Instagram Live. It was it's amazing, to be fair. But just a final word to come out, sum up the season, and then I'll shut up and get ready for next season. Bournemouth are down. I was almost right. I said we were going to win today. Solanke scored. I also said that. So well done, Morgan. But yeah, you know, Championship football back at Dean Court under the lights Tuesday and Saturday. So, you know, more positive vibes. I'll go and recuperate over the summer and get some positive vibes in. And, you know, hopefully I'll see Gary Carragher and Jeff Danner. Thanks for having me on the net this season.
No
Cheers,
worries,
guys.
Morgan. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on, mate. And we'll be wrapping up very, very soon. So yeah, we'll finish off with you guys. And apparently, someone on chat said that gutted for Bournemouth is trending on Twitter, which is it's nice to see. And we certainly did the Premier League proud, didn't we? We were a team that was criticised by people like Martin Keown at the very beginning by, not changing our style, and we stuck to our philosophies, we stuck to our guns, and eventually, Eddie was proved right. But do you think we've just come unstuck, and Eddie needed a plan B, Kirk, and there wasn't one this season?
Yeah, and I actually think, he brought in the players, and we've spoken about it, technically put the ball at their feet. They're probably the best players we've had for quite a few years. Unfortunately, they just didn't play well enough as a team, and then put into the mix that they just all seem to have an error in them every single game, at least one of them. And that's where we're at, really. Yeah, we've always been up against it with the Premier League, trying to prove ourselves. I think what Eddie tried to do, I think Salvatore said it a few weeks ago, was he tried to prove that he was a different type of manager, and actually that instead of we'll score 4, they'll score 3, which was our way of playing and our identity, is actually he said, you know what, we'll show we're good, we can shut teams out, and we can try and win 1-0. And I think we tried to do that the first game of the season against Sheffield United, didn't we? Tried to shut them out 1-0, and they scored in the last 5 minutes. And I think he's tried to make himself look like a different type of manager this year, and it's just not worked. I don't think the players have been fully behind him. I don't think the whole squad's been together, and I just think from top to bottom, the club's made mistakes. The board have made mistakes. Eddie Howe's made mistakes. The players have made mistakes. Outside influences have played too much of a part this season. The Ryan Fraser, the Josh King in January, and it's just all hit. It's just been too much for us to get out of, and we've just always been just a little bit out of touch, and we've never got close enough. And my final point really is it just felt different this time. In previous Great Escapes and all that, it felt like we were being galvanised by the players and the team. I think it was the other way around. I think we were trying to galvanise the club this time, and we were trying to push something into Dean Court. And with regards to the Championship, I'd like to think that we can win the Championship, or we can make the playoffs. I just don't ever think it's that easy. Look at teams that have gone down. Hull City got relegated the other day. They were a Premier League team. It's never that simple. Look at Stoke City just worming their way out of it. If we can stabilise and be touching the playoffs, I'll take that. I think it's just important to remember that we look at it now and think we should be winning the Championship. It's never that simple.
No.
And let's have a good season next year. Let's bring some of the youth through. Let's keep Eddie. Let's regalvanise, and let's have a really good season. It was fun. The 2 seasons we were in it before. So
true. Yeah, Craig, do you feel will there be any? Because we could keep harping on about this Hawkeye thing and stuff like that, and we could also be remorseful of the fact that the season was just not a true football season. I mean, the way everything changed. I know it was the same for everyone, but things like the drinks breaks and the extra subs, and like you look at it and you think, how on earth did we agree to this? But I mean, the answer is money. I mean, voiding the season would have relegated us. Playing on was the only way to secure the money that we needed to keep the business ticking along. The season had to restart. And of course, in the Premier League, money dictates everything. It dictates the fact you need to wake up at 3 a.m. to catch a bloody coach that is, destined for Huddersfield for a 12 noon kickoff. It's an experience I will miss, but also won't miss. It's a funny one. Like, imagine in the game of darts or whatever, that all of a sudden, halfway through a tournament, like the size of the doubles, sort of increases or whatever, or you're allowed 4 darts per throw, like instead of 3. It is a little bit of a joke, but because football's football, some people will gain from it and some people will lose. Therefore, everyone just accepts it, and the big boys will always get preferential treatment. But if there was one season where we can take some kind of solace in the fact that we have gone down, it's a season where football wasn't football anymore, was it?
Yeah, completely agree. And I think if coronavirus hadn't have happened going into this period, well, just before this happened and the season was suspended, we had a good draw against Chelsea, got beat narrowly by Liverpool. If that season had continued the way it has, I think we probably would have beat Palace, would have given Wolves a decent game, probably beaten Newcastle. I agree with, I think it was Paul, wasn't it, that we haven't got any teams around us that we could play friendlies with, whereas those teams from the Midlands did. Yep, it's an excuse, but at the same time, it's a valid one. And with the drinks breaks, the changing substitutions, and of course VAR, although that was there beforehand as well. Yeah, we can take solace that, these past couple of games, especially, we've really picked up the pace. Today we was good. Against Leicester we was good for that 20 minutes. Spurs we did well against. Man United we played well against. But Man United were on such a run. So yeah, we can take solace from that. But at the same time, it's gutting. I think the games that have effectively relegated us is not being able to beat Norwich, especially because everybody pretty much has beaten them.
Not beating Palace away.
Yeah. And they were down to 10 men as well.
10 men.
Watford, Brighton around Christmas as well. There's a lot of games where you say we just completely lost our way, and I completely agree with you, Kirk. We weren't playing for a lot of it in the Bournemouth way. Even at the start when we did well, what Eddie, and I can see what Eddie's tried to do is he's tried to play a bit more defensively, because previous seasons we have lost games where we've gone for it, where you might think, okay, if we played a bit more defensively, kept it a bit tighter at the back, we would have got something there. However, it's such a shift. And sometimes attack is sometimes your best form of defence. It's proved it all along. And I think that's shift where, and I do correct me if you think I'm wrong, guys, but I think that was our downfall, where it started slipping and the players just couldn't find that form back.
No. Yeah, agree.
Hello, guys.
Seem to have frozen.
Yeah, Sam seems to have frozen.
I'm frozen.
I've frozen as well, have I?
No, you're okay. Sam's frozen.
Yeah.
No, I just think that they just haven't played like a team this season. And as I said, I wish that maybe whatever went on at the Newcastle game had come a little bit earlier, if I'm being honest. And if that had happened after Palace, I think we would have got through it. But it's from top to bottom. There's been too many mistakes, too many errors, too many outside influences, and we've not been good enough as a team. But I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right next year. We just need to regroup, and we just need to hope Eddie stays and gets it right again.
I think we could certainly, and I certainly think we could push to get promoted back. Be that automatic or through the playoffs. It would be amazing, if we could pull it off again. I'd love another celebration down the beach and pitch invasion. That'd be amazing. But at the same time, I think we'll do ourselves justice, and
And us as fans, I think we're key. We need to be there in some capacity. I don't think it'll be full capacity, but it has shown really, without us being at, Dean Court, they've really struggled. Apart from the Leicester game where they were given a lifeline by Leicester, it really goes to show how much of an influence we play in that stadium, and how many times, I mean, the Villa game got them over the line. Brighton in the season when Sermon, scored, got them over the line, and so many times we've dragged those players over the line. And that was always the fear when we came back, with us not being in there. We were a 12th man. We have been the 12th man on so many occasions. And I just don't think, I agree with you, I don't think we drop those points against Palace and Newcastle if we don't have COVID. We were in good form. We beat Villa. We should have got a draw against Liverpool. Fraser could have lobbed the goalkeeper properly. It is what it is. And injuries, VAR, it's the same for everyone. It might be different levels. Some teams might get more than others, but everyone suffers injuries, everyone suffers VAR, and that's not ultimately the reason we got relegated.
Yeah, sorry, my internet. I don't know what happened with my internet, but I think everything still carried on. We tried to
get through it.
Yeah, well done. I don't know what happened on my end. I just lost it completely. Now, people have been asking on chat whether we're going to continue what we're doing. Of course. And I think there's even more of a need, because at the end of the day, we're going to be confined to smaller highlights reels now than ever before. The Premier League gives us so much global media attention. So yeah, we are going to be stepping up. Back and that's going to be there throughout. Craig, thank you very much for your input today.
No problem.
As ever, and just sad it was not in better circumstances.
Yeah, it was a shame. To be honest, if we had stayed up, it'd be absolutely amazing. A lot of us had consigned ourselves to relegation last week. And I was saying to Kirk earlier on, if we do it, it's a bonus. I was trying to hold on to any stipulation. So I know that Chris Temple put on there as well, teams playing in blue. From the previous Great Escape. So, we was holding on to everything. But, no, thanks for all you've done this season, Sam. Honestly, it's been absolutely fantastic. And, look forward to doing it next season as well. And I'll be there, and, get involved again.
Yeah, good man. And Kirk, cheers, Craig. And Kirk, with 46 matches in the season, you're going to be the fittest man on the planet with all your morning runs, aren't you? But you know what? Thank you for everything that you've done as well, Kirk, with your contributions, especially on these free-for-alls. Obviously, during COVID, during all this, we're doing these. Whether we'll carry them on, we probably will. Maybe not after a game, because I'm out there with a mic. But we'll do maybe a regular Sunday night session, kind of like we did with the interviews, something like that. Keep it going. I think it's important to keep the dialogue going. And Gemma on chat, of course, love to have Ethan on, chat about AFC Bournemouth, and maybe even in the next couple of weeks, we can arrange it so that we can have a chat and just talk about all things AFCB. So, Kirk, thank you very much, buddy.
Yeah, no, I just want to echo what Craig said. Thank you for everything that you've done, Jeff, Mr. Tiggs, especially during lockdown. It sort of kept us going, and all the interviews with the ex-players and giving us a bit of an insight and, a bit behind the scenes and what's gone on in previous seasons. It's all brilliant. Really appreciate it. It's a good platform for us, even when it is negative and we're a bit down, that we can come on here, get it out of our system and actually think that it's not going to be too bad going forward, is it? So thanks for everything, Sam. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Kirk. Our final word is going to go to Rich, who's come on the chat. He wasn't going to be on, but now he is going to be on the chat. And Rich.
Hello.
What a crappy day, eh?
Yeah, it's wife's birthday as well today. So, I thought I just about scraped it, but I just managed to get in. So I thought, I wanted to say thank you, same as everyone else, as yourself as well. Obviously not the end we wanted, but they did everything today that they could. So I, in the back of my head, thought the Villa would be the result that clinched it. But we're in the Championship now. There's nothing we can do, so we just got to regroup and go again, haven't we?
Yeah, I said in the order of matches that I was worrying about, from most worried about to least. I had us as top as being the ones that would probably screw it up, but we turned up today, and you know what? It was a good result. Not sure whether I'm going to be able to stomach match of the day or not, because that match was a decent match, and I thought that we haven't really spoke much about the the match itself. I thought we were wasteful at times up front. I mean, Callum Wilson, how he didn't score that in the second half, and the amount of chances he's had over lockdown yet not scored, that's a worry. And that alone could take off $1 million off his transfer fee or whatever, because he's not been fine. Ever since he's been involved in the England setup, he's been woeful. King did all right today. Solanke got his goal. Junior Stanislas, came on and was exceptional. If we can have a fit Junior Stanislas for 46 games, then you never know. We've got a hell of a chance. But we've got to look up and we've got to look positive, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you say, I mean, Wilson, don't know quite what's happened to him. I mean, he needs to regroup whether he stays or goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not too bothered if he stays, then he needs to, get better or be on the bench himself. But, I mean, yeah, obviously we could get a fee for him if he does go to Newcastle, whoever, it's been linked with. Then I'm not too bothered at this precise moment how he finished. I mean, he might go on and then play amazing for them, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
People speaking about the ex-players and that they're ex-players for a reason. I think, they've had their time. I mean, Pugh's a legend and everything else, but I don't think it's right to suddenly pop him back again.
No, exactly. Well, Rich, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No, I was trying to make it in, but you were saying now we're wrapping up. I was like, no, just
just give me time. Nice one. Thank you very much. That was Rich. Yeah, cheers, mate. And Steve Cook apparently has been on Radio Solent saying, great words, says Mr. Tiggs. He says he hopes the club can keep hold of the key players and Eddie Howe is vital. So Steve Cook, it sounds like he's committed to the cause at least. So there you go. That is the season summed up. If you want to support the podcast, you can go to afcbpodcast.com/coffee and buy us a coffee. Not an actual coffee, but just a small donation, which we'll put towards our hosting fees for our podcast provider, Podbean. And also this platform that we use cost me 20 quid a month. It's $25, so whatever that is. And we want to keep sort of using this. So there are lots of little expenses once the football season starts again. Obviously, we'll be doing lots of away days, match day experiences. I'm buying microphones and proper equipment so we can do this properly. If you want to support us, it would be really appreciated. afcbpodcast.com/coffee. But do not forget the funnel fundraiser as well. If you want to win a round of golf with Tony Funnel and Harry Redknapp, it's justgiving.com/fundraising/funnel forecast. I'll leave that on the screen throughout. Thanks for joining us. The podcast with myself and Jeff Hayward, that is going to be coming out tomorrow. I can't promise it's going to be brilliant, but we're going to be as positive as we can. Keep your eyes on the YouTube channel throughout the week as well, because we get the feeling there's going to be a lot of news emanating from Dean Court, and we're going to be reacting to it. And we welcome you to come along and react with us as well. But once again, thank you for your kind words and your comments. This has been Back of the Net. We'll see you in the next video. At the Cherries and all the best.